Welcome back, my friends. It's Justice again here from tutorialscamp.com. Today we are still continuing the Adobe After Effects project, the course tutorials. So during the first tutorial we saw we learned what all these interfaces are used for, and then what they do, and then their names, and then how to use it. Okay, so today I want us to focus on is something called composition, and then the tools here. Okay, so now what compositions actually means is that, let me select my workspace. Just give me some seconds. Let me create this composition. Alright, so what composition means is just their project. Okay, so let's say we are going to create a new project, then we'll click on this composition here. Okay, I've shown you how you can make changes to this stuff already. So let me say my project. Okay, alright, so immediately you create a project, you see it gets aligned here. Okay, so now this is the project panel and where to organize your project. Now to work with this project, you need to bring it down here to what? The timeline panel. Okay, so you can see that it has been added to the timeline panel, but there's nothing inside this particular project. Okay, so what you can do is that let's try and create a new text. Okay, and you can type let's say tutorials scamp.com. Okay, so let's type tutorialscamp.com. Let me change. You can change the color here to, let's say, white. Okay, you need to select it first. That first it wasn't selected, so you select it and then you change the color to white, and that should work perfectly. Okay, alright, so here we go. So I want to change the size of it, so this is called the selection tool. Okay, so you can use it to we actually use it to select element, and then use it to move element around. Okay, so if I select this element, you can see that I'm able to move it around and then just leave it somewhere there. Okay, just leave it somewhere there. You can also use it to increase the size of this particular element here. Okay, so you see it, right? So you can use it to increase the font size. Alright, just like this tutorial scamp, or you can just make the adjustment, change the font size here if you want. But first need to select it and then come here, change it to 72. You can see it has become big. Alright, so the another tool I want to show you is the hand tool. Now the hand tool is actually like, let's say if you are working with the mouse, your laptop mouse pad, right? That's where the mouse tool is actually beneficial. Okay, so you just take it and then your whole composition, you can just drag it around just like this. Okay, you can just click and then drag it around. Okay, but if you are using the mouse, you have an external mouse that you are using, I think you won't be using the hand tool a lot, because if you just select this, you can use the scroll wheel to actually scroll up and down, and then you can use it to zoom in, right? And then if you just click on the space bar, you get a hand tool, and then you just select, use your mouse to actually drag it around. Okay, so that's the mouse tool, the hand tool. And then you have the zoom tool here. So with the zoom tool selected, if you click here, you can, with every click that you make, is going to increase your composition panel for you. it increases it. And if you want to decrease it, you click on the Alt 2 and then you do what? You keep clicking. You keep clicking. You can see, right? So that's just, and you can see with every tool there is a special what, shortcut for it. So for example, if you select the H, it selects the, you can see the hand to have the H shortcut attached to it, and then the selection to have the V key attached to it. So immediately if you click on the V, it selects that decorate the hand to, you can see it has been marked blue. And if I click on the H, you can see it has triggered the hand to, which is actually been highlighted as blue, the selected tool here. Alright, so that's the zoom tool, which is also has the Z, okay, has a short key of the Z. So the other thing I want to show you is something called the rotation tool. So the rotation tool is actually simple. You just need to use it to rotate an object. So we have this guy here. We can actually click on any of the anchor points and then rotate it upwards and then downwards, upwards and then downwards. Okay, so that's the rotation tool. Alright, so if you need you have gotten an object where you want to actually rotate it, you use the rotation tool here. Alright, that's fine. So let's go to the other tool, which is pen behind, or we actually call it the anchor point tool. Okay, now the anchor point tool, okay, you can see that with this test objects actually that we have here, you can see we've gotten this particular center something, some anchor point here. Okay, so you can select the anchor point tool to actually move that thing around. Okay, so if you move that thing around, what it does is that it actually lock a specific part of this object so that that part doesn't become movable. Okay, so in case, for example, if I let's see, let me resize this guy here. If I resize it, okay, and then I select the anchor point tool and then I drag the anchor point to the left top corner of the object here. Okay, and then I select the rotation tool. Just look at what happened. You see that this side here will be locked. It will not be moved. It won't be movable. You can see it. Okay, that part is locked. It's not being moved around. Okay, and likewise too, if I take it and then bring it to the center here, then I choose the rotation tool again and then I drag it. You can see the center part is not being moved. You are just rotating around the centered part of the anchor point. Okay, so that's the anchor point for you. It's very handy and you'll be using it often. Okay, so let's move on to the next tool. So with the next tool, we have gotten a couple of tools combined together. We first have the rectangular tool, which you just use it to draw a rectangular box, and then you can just, when you draw it, you can just give it a color and then a lot of stuff. Okay, so let's change it to black. You just first need to select it. Let's change it to black. Oh, sorry. Sorry, just give me some seconds. It was just using the exact space that I already have. Okay, so what we can do is that, let's say let's create a new layer here. I'll talk about layers later on. So let's create a new solid and then let's change the color to white. Change the color to white. Alright, then let's go for our rectangular tool and then let's click something here. You can see we are drawing a rectangle. So that's all that we use the rectangular tool for. We use it to draw a shape, a rectangular shape. And I think you can change the color here, change it here. Alright, I think I didn't select it at the first place. So whoa, just give me some seconds. So this is the solid. So alright, just leave that first and let's move on to other. So all that you need to know that we use it to draw a shape, a rectangular shape that you can work around with it. Okay, so that you can work around with it. My workspace has changed, so I'll just select this workspace here. Okay, alright, now solid. Yeah. Alright, so let's move on to the other listing. So all this stuff here, they are just for creating shapes. Okay, we go to the rounded, rectangular. Let me create this one first. Let me create this object first. Okay, so we have gotten the rounded rectangular here, so you can just drag it here, create a rounded object. Okay, now when you create it, you can just click on the fill here to change the color of it. You can see immediately you select, it changes the color here. Okay, likewise too, you can just select the first. I wanted to show you how to create how do you call it, the fill has changed, so let's make it something like this. Sometimes it gets tedious. Okay, if your system doesn't have much memory, if this program actually messes up, you can see some. So that's actually what is happening to me here. It's not allowing me to click. Alright, so don't mind, just know that all these guys here, the shapes here, they are the tools here for what, creating shapes. If you click on the polygon, you can use that one to create shape, and then just change the color somewhere here. Okay, it's up there. I wanted to bring it down with more. So that is it. So that's how to create the polygon shape, and then with the pen tool, that's how you go with it. Simple. Okay, so let's say for example that you want to actually, okay, we have the star tool. Let me show that one too. So you drag that one to and then you can also change the color of it to something red or something. You can use the selection tool to actually grab it and then move it around. Okay, so the other tool is called how do you call it, the pen tool. So basically we use this pen tool to create different kind of. So we use I'm coming. We use the pen tool to create different kinds of shape, custom shape that you want it. Okay, so for example, let's say we want to create something small here. You can just do something like this, and then you drag around like this. Okay, and then you can actually convert this small one to what, two double anchor points. Okay, and then you can drag one of it and then resize it perfectly. You can see my system doesn't have much memory, so when I drag it, you can see that the graphic interface here changes. It's kind of blurry somehow. Okay, that's how it works when you don't have you don't have much graphics and then much memory on your system. So just know that you can use the pen tool to create custom shape. And the next tool is called the text tool. For example, that one you actually use it to write something. Okay, so write something. Okay, so and basically you'll be using the paragraph and then the character tag here to actually customize, change their color and those stuff. So I just change the color, and then the font size you can make it 30. That's too small, you can't even see it. Alright, so cool. And we have the brush tool. So the brush tool here, we actually use it to do some brushing. So I'll actually leave that one. I'll not talk about it because it's take long. And the clamp tool, maybe that's where you can use it to clamp things. Let's say you have some two objects where you wanted to clamp them together, or you can see I want to go too much into it. Clamp them together, and then you have the eraser tool. You actually use it to create some object. We have the rotating brush tool. This you will not actually use it, okay, but mainly you don't need it. I don't find it very handy because I actually don't use it. And with this one, you actually, the puppet tool, you have to see it in action before you will be able to understand it, because you have to draw some couple of points and then see how you can merge them together and then be using it. Okay, it's kind of handy, but you need to see them in action before you've gotten it. So just get the concept behind it, and that's all. Right, so that was all for the menu tutorial, what the menus panel does, and also what is meant by a composition. So maybe in the next lesson I will show you something called precomposition. Okay, so thank you for this watching, and then I'll see you in the next step.